My guest tonight is a freelance Fife-based model that's done various shoots ranging from glamour to fashion to art to commercial. Very, very, very versatile. She has helped the Afghan Heroes and she will be appearing in one of their calendars very, very soon. Not only that, she's also working on a charity's Ladies' Night that's happening in October. And of course, she'll be raising awareness for eating disorders through, through a photo shoot coming soon. So we're going to be talking all of that with Becky Weatherley, who now joins me in the studio. So Becky, welcome to Radio West Fife.
Hi.
Very, very quiet.
Very quiet. I'll come closer.
It's okay. But no, there's no need. There's no worry. There's no need to worry or be nervous or anything like that. You're on the Friday Night Lounge, the most relaxing place to be. And now, I've known you for a wee bit, but when it comes to your modelling, you started out very young, being inspired by the sort of what you see on TV and looking through the fashion mags and all that kind of stuff. But what was that moment that made you want to become a model?
Well, like you said, I had started from quite a young age, and it's quite an impressionable age, I always think, when you flick through magazines, you're watching the television, and there's always these 6 foot, built like a garden rake type women. And to me, I don't think that sets a good example for young boys and girls. So at the point in time, after I'd been through a couple of problems myself with eating disorders and stuff like that, I then decided I want to be a role model. I don't want to be one of these 6 foot tall, obviously I wouldn't be 6 foot tall, I'm 5'2", but so that's what I decided to do. I want to be a role model for young boys and girls and be a healthy image type model. I want them to look up to me and
all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But when you were suffering from the eating disorders, was it not just about being that different kind of model, but also personally for yourself to try and be a kind of a motivation to try and get out of those eating disorders?
Yeah. That's quite a bit of my work I'm doing with eating disorder awareness and stuff like that as well. I came out of it. I'm now stronger. I want to help people who are going through it, have been through it. I want to help the carers of people who look after anybody with that kind of disorder.
And do you think it's something that's wrong with the general media portrayal of models, or do you think it's a problem within the modelling industry itself?
I think it's just so much pressure on young boys and girls because, as I said, you see these really skinny garden rake type girls and all they're going to be looking at is, this is what you should look like, this is perfection, this is this, that and the next thing. It's a lot of pressure on an impressionable mind, so I'd quite like to change that. And
why do you think that they try to go for the sort of garden rake type physique as you've been describing? Why does the industry favour that to over, say, women that may have curves?
To be fair, you do have curvy models, but the skinny models like catwalk and stuff like that, to me, all I see them as is clothes hangers. I don't think designers and everything seem to want an actual person. It's just somebody to hang their clothes on.
So you'd see them as a sort of a movable clothes hangers.
Yeah, a movable mannequin. Yeah, something like that.
Okay, that leaves me with a creepy image in my head.
Does.
Oh my god, I'm going to have nightmares about that. But moving slightly on from the sort of the negative side of things, you did have an inspiration in Marilyn Monroe. Now, I know she's quite an inspirational figure to a lot of women, but was it just her aura and her beauty, or was it her lesser known side, which she was quite a sharp-minded, savvy person that you found inspiring?
It's just something about her. I think all her values and the fact that she was a size 16 throughout all of her career. She varied from a 12 to a 16, but your average size in Scotland and Britain now is a 16 anyway, and all these girls that are going through problems are like aiming for a size 6 and a size 8, and I don't think it should be like that. She was a wonderfully powerful woman, and she managed to do everything being the way she was, and I love her for that.
In her short-lived sort of career side, she managed to achieve quite a lot. Now, you represent yourself as a model. You don't really go through an agency, but you did try going through an agency, and that didn't necessarily go to plan. So representing yourself, how has that benefited your career so far?
Well, I did try with a couple of agencies. I did have one for a wee while when I was younger, when I was 15, 16, but that didn't work out very well. They weren't very good at communicating with me, and I did have another one recently, but they decided to stop being an agency. So I just thought to myself, why should I be going through other people to get this kind of work when I get the sense of achievement of getting it myself?
And of course, you have a greater degree of flexibility being freelance.
Yes, I can choose my own work and choose my own days, which is great. So
You can even choose your own rates as well.
I can choose my own rates, yes.
So ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching time. Now, you were mentioning, now, you've been doing various bits and pieces. You've been doing various types of shoots and so on and so forth. And one of the things that you are now starting to get involved in that's coming soon is a calendar for the charity Afghan Heroes. Now, as you mentioned to me when just before the interview, when we were talking about the Afghan Heroes kind of side, how did you become, as you put it, the pretty face of the Afghan Heroes at that stall that you were in?
The stall I ended up working for with Afghan Heroes was at a motorcycle show that happens every year in Edinburgh, and I used to sell motorbike gear, so that's how I found out about it. And just so happens that I wasn't working it this year, and I just thought to myself, wonder if any other stall needs help. So I looked through the list of all the stalls that were going to be there, and Afghan Heroes caught my eye. I've always wanted to support the troops and everything like that. I'm a forces daughter. My friends and family serve now, and I fired them an email, and they were like, yeah, sure, of course, yeah, we need a girl to come talk about the charity, hand out bands and stuff like that. So that's what I did, and that's how I met them all.
And you raised a lot of money with the Afghan Heroes that day, and you actually got to know a parent of a soldier that was in the Black Watch that was serving in Afghanistan, and you even received a personal thanks from that soldier right from Afghanistan.
I did, yeah. I met Jan, who is the son who died, and it was his best friend, and she's very close. He's very close with Jan, and we just started emailing over Facebook and stuff like that, and then he phoned me once just to say thank you for the work I've been doing, the fact that I'm going to continue with the work and the money that I raised.
How did you feel when you got that phone call?
I was overwhelmed, to be honest. I mean, I used to talk to my dad all the time when he was out in Baghdad and stuff like that. But it's very heartwarming to know that people, even when they're in the most dangerous situation, can still care about other people, and they should just be looking after themselves.
And how much did you raise roughly on that day alone?
It was just a little over $1,500.
That's not too bad. That's pretty good.
It wasn't bad.
And it's all for a worthy cause as well.
Yeah, very, very worthy cause.
And just tell us a wee bit about this calendar that you're doing with the Afghan Heroes, and how did that come about?
Well, I started talking to Jan a little afterwards, and I visited her house a few times, and I thought I want to help any way I can think of. And I've currently done other bits and bobs for calendars, and I just thought to myself, that would be a really, really good idea. I could just hash it out, and we managed to come up with a plan about making a calendar, and we've done it as a 12-month story set of a relationship in the forces.
All right.
So hopefully people can relate to that and enjoy it just as much as we have making it.
So it's not just dare I say pretty pictures that are associated with each of the month, but also will have an even more personal connection.
Yeah, it will have a story all the way through the months, all the way up to, well, again, if we do another calendar we could proceed the story, but it was great fun doing it, and I had a lot of fun. And
when's that coming out? Do you have any idea when it might be out?
Well, we have not long finished shooting it, so if we can get it to print as quickly as possible, it might be out for 2013. But if not, we want to make it just a little bit more perfect. We'll wait for 2014.
So you may spend more time just for that perfection side of things.
Yes, yeah. I want to raise as much money as I can for these guys. They deserve it.
Perfect. And that's not the only charity thing that you're doing. You're also doing a ladies' night that's happening on the 14th of October as well.
Yeah, that's right. It's a lady called Paula O'Brien, and she started up a big foundation to help people with bereavement, people who have just lost somebody they love, help with funeral costs, flowers, baby coffins if anybody's lost a baby. So that's what we're doing. We're holding a big charity ladies' night, which is happening at the Glen Pavilion in Dunfermline. And that's just everything a girl would like: cupcakes, cocktails, and we've got a Mr. Fife competition coming up as well. So that should be quite fun for all the ladies.
And you get to be one of the judges as well.
Yes, I'm a very lucky girl for that. Yes, I get to be one of the judges, so that'll be a lot of fun.
Fantastic. And how did you get involved in the charity ladies' night? How did you get?
I know Paula. She's just one of my friends. I've been to her a couple of times. She's a psychic medium, so she's a very, very lovely lady. Great role model.
So that's 14th of October.
14th of October at the Glen Pavilion, and the Mr. Fife competition is in December.
Excellent, fantastic. Now, there's also a few other things that you're involved in. You're doing a bit of raising awareness of people that are suffering from eating disorders. Just tell us about this photo shoot that you're doing.
Yes, I started up a little Facebook thing. I mean, I've been wanting to do a lot of work with that. I suffered from it, and people in my family suffer from it. I know lots and lots and lots of people who suffer from it, and I just want to help. Now that I've come out the other side, I want them to believe that they can do that also. So I've started up a Facebook page, and I have plans for a photo shoot to sort of have a campaign photo. I might do a wee video on that as well, just to show. I'm going to get models that have been through it and have come out the other side. I don't want to use Photoshop. I just want them to be the gorgeous selves that they are. Take the photos, and it's going to be like, if we can do it, you can do it. And that's all I want to get across, doing the things that you couldn't do when you were ill, like going for coffee, eating cake, going out shopping with your friends and stuff like that. So
it's basically defying the typical stereotyping when it comes to glamour or modelling photography.
Yeah, most girls look at photos and be like, oh, yeah, because it's just like, oh, look what you could look like, this, that, and the next thing. I don't want it to be like that. I want them to look at it and give them the strength every day to keep fighting the illness.
Fantastic. And we're now running very tight for time here, sadly.
Okay.
But just before you go, how can we find out more about your fantastic array of work?
Well, right now I've got a Facebook page. It's just Becky Model. If you type that into the search bar in Facebook, I keep everything up to date on there.
So, Becky Weatherley, thank you for coming into Radio
Thank
West
you for
Fife.
having me.